Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. You are listening to The Robert Budd Show. This is Robert Budd. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I really appreciate it. I don't take it lightly that you're listening to the program. Once again, I really appreciate it. So in today's show, we as in me, talk to Sarah Simonetti. So Sarah is coach at Nakoa Fitness with myself, so I know her through Nakoa, and it was super fun to interview Sarah, especially after we had just done a workout called Murph, and it was on Memorial Day this year, 2017. And Murph, for those of you who don't know it, it's a hero workout that it's in tribute to a gentleman named Michael Murphy, and he was an ex-Navy SEAL. And I put a link of the workout and who Michael Murphy was on my website, robertbudd.net/podcast, if you'd like to check that out. So Sarah is a former collegiate softball player, and she is a small-town Ohio girl. And looking at Sarah, you may think, man, this girl can probably kick my ass. And it's probably true. She's she's really tough. And she knows Muay Thai, and that's one of her passions is boxing and Muay Thai. She's also is a CrossFit coach, and sports performance specialist. So I really dig Sarah because her outlook on life is tremendous. It's really contagious, and she's super fun to be around. So without further ado, here is Sarah. All right. So for a sound check, I always like to ask what people had for breakfast. So what'd you have for breakfast?
Ooh, coffee and a mini pancake with almond butter.
Almond butter? What kind of pancake? Like almond pancake?
Buttermilk,
buckwheat,
homemade.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Homemade pancakes.
Do you like homemade, like scratch them?
Yep.
Really?
Flour, sugar, eggs, butter. The usual suspects.
Yeah. You measure any of it, or just like little this, little that?
Little this, little that.
Yeah. I can't do that when I bake stuff, when it requires like baking soda and baking powder and stuff like that. It's too chemistry for me, but like otherwise I'm just like just
I can't do it cooking, which is weird.
Really?
Yeah.
You need a recipe when you cook? Like.
Yep, but when I bake, I'm pretty good.
Oh.
I don't know. It's usually always like a tablespoon of baking soda or powder.
Oh, you see, I wouldn't.
Sometimes they get too big. Sometimes they don't rise.
Sometimes, like I look at it, I'm like, well, how can just a little bit of something make that much of a difference? So I'll put more in, because more is better, right? And so just like, and I'll taste it, and like, it tastes salty or something.
Right? No, for sure.
What the hell's in here? Well, thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're absolutely. I'm wanting to have you on the show for a while, and we just did Murph, the workout Murph. It's Memorial Day in 2017, and that sucked.
Yes.
my voice is a little weird because of working out. If for those of you who don't know Murph, it's a mile. It's all timed. It's a mile run. It's 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats, air squats, and another mile run.
Yep.
So we did in 54 minutes and 39 seconds.
Beat our time.
Yeah, both of our times. Yeah, awesome. Well, cool. Well, let's start it out. Like, I'm curious about the conversation we were just having about how we perceive food and like what's going on with. I know for myself when I feel really guilty about stuff that I eat. I grew up as a fat kid, and so if I eat something, I'm like, okay, I got to work it off, or I'm guilty about it. I really can't enjoy it. I mean, I can in the moment, but then afterwards, I'm like, oh crap, I can't have anything for a couple of days or whatever.
You beat yourself up.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this continuing on what we were talking about with you?
Yeah. Should I backstory it?
Sure, yeah.
Awesome. So high school, I did some fitness and figure shows. So I was basically on stage in a bikini at 16 years old. I was a nanny for a bodybuilder coach. So he got me into it, and I loved it. But it also ingrained this like very strict disciplined eating of like tilapia and oatmeal and very bland. And my parents were chefs, so I was always going to school with awesome food, which now I appreciate. But at the end of the day, I wanted some Wendy's or a Twinkie.
Yeah.
Never had anything sweeter than Kix cereal. But yeah, I think that grew into me going to college and eating a bunch of fast food pizza. I blew up. So in high school, I think I suffered with exercise bulimia. Just like you said, I'd eat, but then I'd work out super hard before high school, after high school, and I was in sports. So it was like nonstop workout. And then now it's like this weird relationship with food. Like I shame myself, right?
Yeah.
I eat a brownie and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And man, I don't even want to work out. I just want to shame myself. And so it's just this struggle of when do we stop being like little kids eating ice cream and enjoying it to eating ice cream and being like, oh shit, I need to do something about it.
Yeah, totally. When I was a little kid, I can eat cheesecake and there was not a problem.
Yeah, and you didn't need to eat like a whole cheesecake, right?
Yeah.
Like now I feel like I can sit down and eat 10 cookies instead of just 2.
Yeah, because you know it's going to be a guilty thing later, and you're not going to,
It's the same guilt whether I have 1 or 10.
Oh, so fuck it. Might as well have 10.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
Ohio, Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 16, you started fitness. Back then, was it fitness competitor? Was it more like light bodybuilding, or was it more like how it is like fitness competitor?
So
now?
Fitness back then was routines, so gymnastics routines. I did figure. So figure was just posing in a bathing suit, and back then it wasn't women weren't as huge as they are now. So now I think it's figure, fitness, bikini, and bodybuilding. There's more different classes.
Yeah.
Back then there wasn't as many. Yeah. And like...
What's back then? What year was this?
I graduated high school 2003. So like 2002. Going into, 2001, 2002. Way to date me. Excuse me while I drink my margarita.
You said there's nothing off limits. So what was the prep like when you were getting ready for these shows? Was it more of a bodybuilding routine, or was it
So mornings it would be like morning cardio. Then I would go nanny for these kids before school. I'd drop them off at school. Then I'd go to high school. After high school, I'd have softball practice. After softball practice, I'd go back to the gym and do like shoulders or back, thighs, legs. Like it was broken up in those different days.
Right.
Yep. And then
different body parts.
Different body parts. So there was like five different days of lifting, and then like you'd have 2 cardio days, 2 days cardio on top of that.
Yeah, and the diet was
super strict.
Yeah.
Like plain oatmeal, egg whites, tilapia, broccoli.
The good old
chicken,
days.
Brown rice.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I got brown rice.
Yeah, and the cardio was like Stairmaster for like an hour or something like that.
Walking on an incline for an hour.
Jeez, we could have had the same coach, because my coach did the same thing with me when I bodybuilt. It was like the same.
I think it's all the same. It's just a matter of like how much the calories and the time of cardio is like how much you have to cut, right?
Yeah.
So.
Did you like it? Was it?
I enjoyed it back then. It was something cool to like be disciplined in, but I find I am like kind of an all or nothing personality, so it's hard for me to find that maintenance. I do better if I'm like on a plan, but then I realize that a plan like I don't like to call them diets, but like a maintenance plan, it's hard for me to follow I'm either all of it or none of it.
Yeah, like super strict or just whimsical.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm 31, I'm still having a hard time finding that balance.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing with like shaming yourself, right? Like wake up and have pancakes, like it should be fine.
Yeah.
But yet I feel guilty.
Yeah.
Good morning.
What's it like, with kids? I mean, they are going to want something, I'm sure, different than what you're going to shame yourself into.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's hard with them because I work full time and have them pretty much full time. So sometimes at night, if they get Subway, I just end up getting a salad, or I'll have some of their chips, and I try to find a little bit of a balance there. Or they'll get Chick-fil-A, and I just try to make myself some breakfast at home or dinner for breakfast or whatever. But yeah, kids' snacks are hard.
Well, I know you always bring in awesome snacks, and they're like my guilty thing. So
excuse me.
I end up mowing into those like big bags of trail mix with chocolate and stuff like that. It's like I love all of it. I'm really happy that when you bring it in, but that's another guilt thing. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to mow on it now because I'm going to do 2 workouts tomorrow. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
So what about after or during college? What did you do during college? What was the fitness and regimen during college? You said you blew up. I just
gained like the freshman 20, gained the pounds. I got ankle surgery my freshman year of college. My sophomore year. I played college softball, and my ankle was just like ripped up rubber band, like stretched out rubber band. So my right ankle was reconstructed. Both of them needed done. I only got one done. Then I stopped playing ball just because it wasn't worth it. And then, so on crutches, not really into fitness, more into partying.
Yeah.
My parents were going through a pretty gnarly divorce too, so I was kind of in a fuck it type of mode of, I was still in school for kinesiology, but I was just more along the lines of like, it's my time to party.
Yeah.
Eat pizza till 3 a.m, you know, it's not going to affect me at all.
You can bounce back.
Yeah, right.
What about after college? What'd you get into?
I moved out here. So I did an internship for Velocity for some volleyball girls out here in 2005. And my parents were still going through like a gnarly divorce. So I moved back home, finished my associates, kind of said, fuck it, I don't want to be around this. Got hired. Let me back up. So while I was out here doing my internship, I ended up wanting to learn boxing because I was scared of sharks. So I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to learn surfing. So I'm going to learn boxing.
I went through, you're out there surfing and you want to learn how to box so you can fight off the sharks.
Exactly.
That's where I went with that.
So I learned how to box and I fell in love with the sport. And they wanted me to work for them as a strength coach. So I got hired as a strength coach, moved back home to finish my associates, and opened up the building, which is now NACOA. 11 years ago, this entire building was the boxing club.
Oh.
So I started as a trainer, and I ended up randomly signing up a crap load of members, so they made me sales manager. So I managed this boxing gym.
Huh.
So that's how I ended up out here.
And that's how you got into boxing?
That's how I got into boxing.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
That was my next question.
Yep.
Boxing, was it just boxing or was it?
Muay Thai.
Yeah.
More so Muay Thai and boxing.
Yeah.
Yep. Never got into the ground stuff.
How come?
I just don't want sweaty balls in my face, to be honest. Or a sweaty lady part. Maybe one day.
That's just the best. That was what I thought when I started grappling. I'm like, okay, sweaty dudes on me. And I'm like, well, if I can figure out how not to be on the ground, then, I can put my sweaty balls on them. Yeah.
But nobody wants them around your face. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, it would be cool to learn. I'll stick to stand up right now.
Yeah. You always say that's your thing. Your boxing and Muay Thai is your thing. So if you could do that full time, would you?
No, I like the difference between like Olympic weightlifting and mixing in some pad work. And stuff. I feel like it just gets kind of stagnant if you practice one art at a time. But I like the mixture of all of it.
What about CrossFit? How'd you get into that?
I worked for a gym called Throwdown. Now it's called Victory. It's down in Point Loma by the sports arena. And a couple Navy SEALs ran it. And they introduced CrossFit to me in like 2007. So I was kind of like one of those, like, oh gosh, here we go, another cult, blah, 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 blah. And then I started doing it and I fell in love with it. It was just a cool balance to like the crazy kicking pads and lifting weights. And I was like, I'm never going to get into Olympic weightlifting, and I love it. So, a couple of badass Navy SEAls. Jocko, have you heard of Jocko?
Yeah.
Yep. Jocko and Brian Sargent.
Yeah. Jocko Willink.
Yep.
Yeah. Did they still run it?
I think they're co-owners or investors, but they're still down there full time with all those MMA guys.
Yeah. Well, for those of you who don't know, Jocko is pretty famous, I would say. Yeah, he's pretty well known.
Yeah.
Navy SEAL, him and his partner, both they're very well known. He's got his podcast, and if you look on his Instagram, he has I think it's 4:35. He takes a picture of his watch like every day or something like that. Yeah. Yep. I like Jocko. He's what you would think of as if you think of badass Navy SEAL, jiu-jitsu guy.
He's just really down to earth too.
Yeah.
Really nice guy, nice family.
Huh.
Yeah.
So what do you think was your influences, or what influenced you as when you're youth to get into sports, and besides, was it before the babysitting thing, or was it just the babysitting?
I always played sports. I started gymnastics and dance when I was little, and then in grade school I did field hockey, lacrosse, and basketball. And I fell in love with softball. I did like some club softball, and my high school didn't have it, so I transferred to a high school that was known for sports. So they had softball. So I went from a private school in Columbus to a Catholic high school in the ghetto.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So my parents were not stoked, but I was like, I'm going here. They wanted to keep me at a private school, and I said no. So, Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say you went from, how is it going from like a team sport to single sport back to team? Because you're kind of all over the place. I was a single person sport forever, swimming and running and powerlifting and bodybuilding, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of go back and forth.
I think I was mostly team up until the figure shows, and I wouldn't even consider that me as like pursuing that. I've done like 4 shows in my life.
Yeah.
But I love the team atmosphere, and that's why I think I fell in love with CrossFit, is because I love the community. I love everybody cheering on each other and screaming and groaning. Like, that's just my jam.
Yeah. So you just went to regionals. I mean, you went to go watch regionals.
Yep. Number 2 female in the world. Look it up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know for myself, when I start to watch the games, or I get the bug to go and do CrossFit. I never competed, but I really liked it. I liked the workouts. I liked the community. I liked how I looked and felt and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Are you kind of the same, or?
Yeah, I'm completely the same. I'm kind of like the 2% of women that I get real big. Like I can put on muscle really easily.
Yeah.
I just have to kind of get comfortable with it again, because this whole society we live in of women aren't supposed to be huge and this and that and muscly, or it's just in my head.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a mind fuck. But I love it. I love watching those females. I think like I totally get the bug, and I'm going to do a competition in August.
What kind of competition?
CrossFit.
Oh, yeah?
Battle of the Barracks.
Oh, right on.
Yep. So I work out with my buddy a couple times a week, and we just push each other and train each other. Roy at Exos.
Yeah.
So we work out and try to push each other, and we're both going to compete in August.
What's your reasoning behind competing? Why compete?
I think it's because I'm not in a team sport right now, or I'm not, like, it's kind of a goal. You know, my body hurts to run, so I don't really want to sign up for half marathon, because when I'm done, I hurt.
Yeah.
I think you hurt a little bit after these CrossFit competitions too, but it's such a sense of accomplishment that you can just go and have fun, and like I don't need to place, I just need to go and finish. You know, it's kind of like when you get up on stage and you do those shows, when you did bodybuilding, it's kind of, I don't care if I place, more so just like knowing I could do it. So that's where I'm coming from. I know I'm not going to probably ever go to regionals, because I'm 31 and never say never, but I don't have the time to dedicate to that sport right now. Just a goal.
Yeah. And a goal to keep you on track to work out, or just a goal just to have a goal in your...
Just a goal to work out. Yeah, they're going to release the workout soon, so I'll look at it and see what division I want to do, and maybe have a goal to do a muscle up, or do butterfly pull-ups, or something along those lines by August.
Yeah. What happens when you don't have a goal? Like, what do you do when you work out? I know for me, I love having some sort of competition or something to train for, because it gives me purpose in my training. Otherwise, I'm just kind of training, training for the sake of it, keep in shape or whatever, But I'm a super narcissistic, so that's
for sure. I think in this industry we all are.
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel like I have been kind of lost the past year, because I haven't set any goals. I've been trying to find my way in like my career and children, and finding my swagger per se. So I haven't set any goals, or I think they kind of scare me, because I don't know if I could attain them. So I think I'm just being a little bit of a pussy and not like setting those goals like 1 month, 6 months, and so on.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the whole thing behind having goals, is to scare you a little bit.
Yep, right? For sure.
Not a little bit scared.
Putting them down on paper, you're like, well, I don't know. It becomes real when you start to write it down or make notes of it, I think.
What do you see as a mistake, or something somebody's getting into the business for early on in their career as a physical therapist or a personal trainer or something like that? What do you see as mistakes as when people first get into business? What do they do?
Probably not being open, like not being open to learning, because I think in this industry there's something you can learn every day. It's always evolving, and like not being closed-minded about like bar class to yoga to CrossFit to performance, I think the biggest mistake is people thinking they can cap out and their knowledge is done, like, oh, I went to I got my degree in kinesiology, there's only one way to do a push-up. Like, that's, I think, the biggest mistakes that some of the young bucks make. Yeah.
What about the old bucks? What do you see as when somebody's, pretty seasoned, they've been in the business for a long time?
Kind of the same thing, right? Like, if the only thing they've been doing is Olympic lifting, and that's the only thing they believe in, and not being open to, oh, hey, you can lift this way now, or being open to like, hey, let's pair it with Pilates, you know, or my friend Zach teaches kettle booty, you know, like just being open to all of it, because somebody's going to want to do that, and it might work for them.
Yeah. What about women in the business? Where do you see, like, it's been a struggle, or it's been a plus or minus for you being a woman in the business? Because I know when I first started, bodybuilding and powerlifting and coaches and stuff like that is predominantly males doing it. There wasn't a whole lot of women trainers and coaches and stuff like that. I
think for women, it's pretty difficult to be a trainer. I think now, or coach, whatever you want to call it, I think now it's a little bit more open because of the CrossFit industry, but it's still very hard. I think until you maybe work out or get sweaty with some of the guys and, share that, then the guys get a little bit more open, because it is pretty much a male society in this whole fitness coaching world. You don't see too many females coaching the NFL Combine and stuff like that. And I think it's just earning that respect, whether it's like interning or like I said, I think the easiest way for women to do that is getting sweaty with the guys, or just getting in there and learning about their programming, and them not being scared to talk to guys about lifting and stuff like that. And I think it goes the other way. I think some females are very cocky. You walk into a certain gym and they give off a vibe when it's like, hey, female to female or something, like we don't, you know what I mean? I don't know if you guys see it as males, but I think there's like women are either very timid or very like over cocky in this industry. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. How do you strike a balance with work and kids and working out and if, I don't know, it sounds like you're working on striking a balance. Yeah, I was like, ask me again in a year. So, what advice or influences, or what would you say to other single parents in general? I'm assuming that whether male or female, they have the same. I think you just have to give yourself grace. If I can't work out one day, I just need to relax. If I can't eat a salad for dinner, I just need to relax. But it's like a slippery slope for me. So if I don't work out, then I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna have a burger. If I have a burger, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna have ice cream. So I think for me, I need to like wind back and be like, okay, like you don't have to work out, but you don't need to like self mutilate yourself, whatever you want to call it. But it's hard to find a balance, because I wake up at 4:30, pack the lunches, get them ready, go coach, drop them off at school, come back, pick them up from school, come back, dinner, bed. And by that time, like I have all the initiative in the world to sit down and like want to journal and want to write goals. But when I get home, in reality, I'm like, let me just try to like drink a glass of wine in the shower and go to bed. In the shower? That's multitasking. Oh, yeah. Nobody bugs me in the shower. I lock my door. Knock 3 times if it's an emergency. If not, lay down. I've never heard that before. Really? No. Oh, no. I have like my full glass. Really? Oh, yeah. That's so funny. Oh, man. What about being an athlete as a kid? What do you think about having your kids doing athletics? Do you push them to a certain way or guide them, or just like, okay, if you want to take this, go for it, just kind of find what they're interested in? And like, how's that work? It's hard because my kid's father is a professional athlete, and I played sports too. So obviously I think it would be great if they were in sports, because it's been a big part of our lives. But my son, Leonardo, he's tried soccer, not a big fan, but he wants to do golf. And then he's in after-school care, so he recently said, Mom, you're going to be so proud of me. I'm like, what's that, bud? He's like, I tried soccer and I liked it. So I think like introducing them to it and then letting them feel it out on their own. And my daughter's all about sports. She's doing gymnastics now and doing amazing. And she wants to do soccer, she wants to do softball, she wants to do everything. So we're just going to try a couple months here, a couple months there, and go for that. Yeah, Lindsay told me we were just watching kids at we weren't watching, we were just observing kids and parents and stuff like that. We were out having dinner last night, and she's like, and they were just coming from, looked like soccer, and then going to softball, and then we overheard them like, all these plans they're making. She's like, babe, I don't know if I can handle like multi-sports and being that soccer mom bouncing back and forth. And like, what do we do? And I'm like, I just guess we figure it out when the time comes. It's a huge commitment. That's why I'm kind of letting them really kind of figuring out instead of pushing them so early. Because, really, people, yes, maybe you've played soccer since 5 and you're a professional athlete now, but I think you either have it or you don't. Yeah. So even if they start at 8 or 9, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. You know, I think you're either like, yes, you could train for 100 years, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. Or, you know, he finds out in freshman year he's freaking awesome at track and goes from there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the approach I want to take. It might change. But yeah, I'm not ready to sit through 4 soccer games on a Saturday. I hate to say it, but I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
See you later.
You guide them towards like the stuff that you are naturally good at, like boxing and working out and
I try
and stuff like that.
But they grew up in the boxing gym. Terry and I had Team Quest, and both of our kids were born and raised there. And Leo kind of wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Talia will do some pads with me, but if their friends do it now it's interesting. Now one of their friends is doing some Muay Thai, and Leo's like, oh, Mom, I kind of want to try it. So just interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in a sport family. My mom just was like, okay, you're going to swim. And I don't remember ever not swimming. So it was just easy just to drop me off at the pool, and I was happy. And that was it. I just swam all day. You know, and my sister went shopping. I think her sport was shopping. My sister's sport. Yeah. I think it still is, you know. And mine, I just
can't
love
stand shopping.
Yeah, I just love being in the water. Yeah, shopping is like, no.
If I need something, I go get it and go home. I'm not like your typical female that can shop all day.
Yeah. What about like in the performance world? I mean, we work in a performance center. Like, where do you see yourself going, evolving to inside of the your coaching business, and you know where you want to go from there?
I recently, this past couple years, I've worked with some teenage girls. And I work with them more so like at their homes, and we do some boxing and goal setting and some other stuff, and I love it. It's really rewarding. I think teenage girls is a huge niche that I kind of want to tap into.
Yeah.
Whether it be body image or all the bullshit in high school and that type of stuff. I don't know. I hated high school. I didn't love college. I had friends in high school. I was fine. I had an eclectic group, but I don't know. I think I saw through some of the bullshit early on. So I feel for those kids, and just watching girls treat each other the way they do, and guys, and all the drugs and sex stuff. And I don't know. I just somehow want to get involved with teenage girls and helping them out and kind of making them badasses.
Yeah, like mentorship.
Yeah, and like kind of getting them all together, like getting all the girls together that don't know each other from different schools, and like getting together for like a workout and like write down some goals. And I have a couple teenage girls, and I'm like, hey, what pisses you off today? And we do boxing, and hopefully it helps, and they love it, and they leave, and their parents are like, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, hey, I'm going to talk to your kids, and obviously if they're in danger, I'll let you know, but I'm just going to talk to them about what pisses them off.
Yeah.
We talk about it. Sometimes it's mom, sometimes it's dad, sometimes it's some stupid boy at school, and we work it out and talk about it and go from there.
I could have used some of that when I was a kid, because we're, you know, for the most part, pretty lost as a kid.
For sure.
You know, like I felt pretty alone, and you know, nobody else has the problems I have, blah blah. But we're all going through the same crap. I didn't really realize that we're going through the same crap until way further on in my life, like in my 30s.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, oh, you have the same problems, and I hear a lot about that, like, you know, working with kids and their body image, especially with girls and their body image and stuff like that. You really see a niche.
Yeah, it's happening like younger and younger now, which is insane to me. But like 13 rather than like 16, 18.
Yeah. Why do you think? Because that media?
I just think social media. You can filter everything. All these pictures are so fake. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's California, but I think it's everywhere, to be honest with you. But it's just, you look on Instagram and girls are, you know, not taking pictures with their friends, or taking pictures of their like butt cheeks, you know, and it's just, it's gone from something being like somewhat sacred and to like celebrating your nakedness. Which, I mean, I am the mom that wears a G-string on the beach, but at the same time, like, I want to have my kids be comfortable in who you are. Yeah. But I'm not going to be posting it all over social media. Yeah. You know, I just think these little girls just watch TV and watch these shows, and it's just like a mind fuck. How do you filter for your daughter? I mean, like, what is there anything you do in particular that, I mean, she's pretty young still. Yeah, she's 4. She catches on, but I don't know. I try to just have real conversations with them, even like sexually, about their body parts or whatnot, and like just telling her to be like, act like a lady, you know, when she's wearing a dress. And I don't know. Like, I'm learning every day, and something comes about, and you know, like, I'm on my lady time, for instance, and she sees a tampon and she's like, what's that? And I tell her what it is, and she has no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm going to be open with her. So when that time comes, she might be more familiar with it than a shocker. I have no clue. I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
I just don't want her to be like 13 and be like, shit, what is this?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I don't know what that's like, but I know for myself, like as a man, I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm not going to go ask my dad. You know? I'm going to go look for his magazines, but I'm not going to ask him like what's happening.
No, for
mentally
sure.
or whatever. I just wasn't going to do that. Who knows what's going to happen when we have kids? But who's your influence now? Who do you go to? Like when you have questions, you're wondering like, okay.
I have a pretty good support group. I have some friends that have a little bit older kids, so I'll call them and I'll just be like, all right, is this normal? B, like, I just threw a baby doll outside the window because I didn't want to punch my daughter. So like, do I need to turn myself in? But like, I have my friend Dana. She's in Okinawa now, but she was out here in Oceanside and she has kids. I hope she's not listening, but I think they're 13 and 11 now. 13 and 9, 11 and 9. Anyways, she does a lot on her own because her husband is in military and travels a lot. So she's always my go-to of like, shit, like what the hell do I do? My daughter's naked. My son's drawing on the wall. I mean, she's like my go-to of like sanity.
Yeah.
Like, is this normal? So I don't know. I have a good group of friends that I can call and talk to, and they're kind of like my role models or whatnot, if you may.
Do you any influences with books or like you read up on it or anything like that?
No, I haven't. I did when they were younger.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was kind of like, for me, it was like you have to follow and do this, and babies can only have sweet potatoes and only green beans. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what works for me. And I think that's what parents need to do, is what works for them. And it's always good to get other people's advice. But at the end of the day, if my kid's going to come in bed with me once a night and I get better sleep, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sleep trained my kids, so they sleep all night, and it worked for me. Sometimes it doesn't work for people.
Yeah.
So I think it literally is going to be like what works for you on your schedule. I was like, I'm never going to let my kids watch iPads. And what do we do at night? If they eat dinner, they're allowed to watch a show. Because, again, I need my wine in my shower.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine, and we're like, we really see how the iPad is, messing up with the kids. And it's like, their babysitter and blah, blah, blah. And then we both looked at each other and we're like, all right, talk to us in about 5 years when our kids you're running around all crazy. And I'm like, where's the iPad?
I know.
What do I do now? Yeah. What would you say to maybe a woman that is struggling with finding time just to work out or working with her self-image? Where would she go for the steps she would take to start to work out? Or would she go to a performance center? Would she go to yoga? Would she just start with her diet? What would you?
I think she would just have to find a coach, trainer that she would just connect with, because I don't think really what you're doing per se is going to change as long as you connect with somebody. As a coach and trainer, I think we're kind of therapists in a way, and that's what really kind of changes their day-to-day lives or their mentality. They come in, they tell us what's up, and we connect with them. And I think for that woman out there, you find somebody you connect with, you could bullshit with, and obviously it will get you a good workout, whether it's more mobility or whether it's more strength training or conditioning. I think you just need to kind of shop around and figure out who you connect with, whether that's a woman or a guy or a girl.
Yeah. What makes you different as a coach?
I have a gift of really connecting with people. So whether it's a guy or girl, a little kid or an old guy or older woman, I think I just kind of find that thing that we both have in common, and I hold on to that and really connect with them. So it makes me different, I think, because I can read people really well. So I know when to push them, and I know when to hold off. And sometimes it's trial and error. Sometimes I fuck up and I push them too hard and they don't want to see me for a week. But then I get a text message like, hey coach, I guess I'll come back.
I always like to ask different coaches this. What's a myth out there in the fitness industry that you would like to expose?
Oh man. I think a couple of them. One of them, I think, is, the whole lifting heavy, women get big. I think there's a very small percentage. You're not going to get big. You're just not, period. And I think the whole myth of CrossFit being bad. I think if people go from couch to CrossFit coach, that's one thing, but I think it's great if it's done right and you have the right coach and they're taught properly, and you're watching your volume and stuff. I think it's done beautifully and can really benefit people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Who are you mentoring? Who are you coaching? Who's learned from you?
Oh man. I don't know. I feel like all of us here learn from each other. But I've kind of taken Teresa under my wing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, have her kind of program some workouts for us whenever we work out together because she wants to coach. She's in kinesiology. I think I'm mentoring more like younger girls on life per se more than coaching. Like I talk to Morgan a lot about life and stuff, and that's where I find myself more mentoring rather than mentoring to coach.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of being a coach is mentoring in life, and then while you're working out.
Yeah, no, for sure. And they're gonna find different niches of they'll work out with you and find out what works, what they like, little cues from you and from me and from everybody, and bang it out. Yeah.
I'd like to, when I look at coaches or when somebody says they're a coach, I like to find out like who are they coaching, who are they teaching as another coach, as a mentor.
Yep.
Who are they bringing up? Because that's how we leave our legacy. That's
through
how
your successors.
Yeah, that's how we share.
For sure.
If a coach isn't really sharing what they know and like taking somebody on, then it's a little selfish.
Yep.
And like we need good coaches out there. We need you. We need Sarah out there for these, because I'm not going to take Teresa on. This is Sarah.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I think my gift to give is to teach people how to connect, and help them connect. I don't know if you could really teach it per se, but help them connect, because I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because you can give them a great workout, but if you don't connect, I don't know.
That's a huge carryover in life too. If you're just not, if you're so into yourself, you're not connecting with anybody in your life, that's, it's just a lesser experience of life, I think. I think that's connection and having relationships and stuff
For
like
sure.
that. Yeah. What if you could leave something with people? What would it be?
I could leave something?
Yeah. What do you want to leave people with? That's better.
Like what is it? Like remind
like a message, or you can put it up in lights or sky, right in the sky, or tow it behind an airplane at the beach. What message would you want to?
I like big butts and I cannot lie. Sorry, you're trying to get deep and I'm being silly.
That's great.
Probably just give yourself grace. I think it's just something I try to practice every day, and I have a really hard time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you know you've succeeded in giving yourself grace? What's the metric? What's the measure on that?
Just not beating yourself up about anything per se. Like, hey, I didn't play with my kids enough today. I didn't feed them 5 vegetable groups, and I didn't work out today, and I didn't work hard enough, or I don't know.
What do you think that provides your children and the people around you when you give yourself grace?
I think it's kind of a little stress off your shoulders, a little weight off your shoulders of like, you know what, I don't have to go anywhere today. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here and be with the kids. Whether we watch an hour of TV, like just telling myself, like, we don't need to go here. We don't need to go there. And just kind of like, this is what it's going to be. So I think it just feels good. And like, I think the kids can feel that energy off of me, and people around me too. Mike can immediately look at me and he's like, go sit the fuck down. Like, calm. Because I'm such a go person. And he's like, just sit down.
Yeah.
Be humble.
we did an interview, and he's so relaxed. He's so chill. For those you haven't heard, you should listen to Mike LaRocca's video. Interview. Don't listen to it if you're tired, because he's so mellow.
I know.
It's like a meditation.
For sure.
He'll have you relaxed. Cool. Where can people find you?
People can find me at Nakoa.
Yeah.
And my Instagram, I'm going to switch it to my name, but my Instagram is Lifting and Laundry.
Yeah. And what's that all about?
I was thinking a long time ago to have my own thing about like lifting and laundry in my website, because I feel like as a mom, as a strength coach and mom, I'm always either lifting weights or freaking putting laundry away.
Yeah.
So that's my life. So I just kept lifting and laundry, and I bought the domain because I thought it was something cool.
Yeah.
So find me on Instagram or Facebook, Sarah Simonetti. Simonetti. And come work out with me. I'll give you a booty.
Yeah, because
I like big butts, and I cannot lie. Those other brothers cannot deny.
that's so great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show and providing, your awesomeness. And it was really great to work out with you today.
Yeah.
We don't really say a whole lot, but it's just knowing that you're going through the same suck as I am.
Yeah.
It's just so much better.
No, it's so good. It's so good. I'm so hypoxic right now. I don't remember our conversation.
My brain's like,
we need food.
Food. All right. Adios. Alrighty, and there is Sarah Simonetti. Thank you so much, Sarah, for being on the show. I put links on my my site, robertbudd.net/podcasts, and look for Sarah's podcast, and you'll find everything that I could link. Linkable things, like the places we mentioned, the people we mentioned on the website, so all the links are there. What else? And any other podcasts that we mentioned Mike LaRocca, his podcast is also on that same site. If you would like to get a hold of Sarah, she's on all the socials. I put links on for Sarah for her Instagram and also her Facebook. So all the links for Sarah could be found on there. Also, if you would like to receive an email from me, and it's a monthly email. I don't like to call it a newsletter because no one likes to get a newsletter. But in this email, I love to investigate stuff. So I like to investigate different ways of eating, different ways of working out, different mindset training, personal training development. I just dig it all up. Recipes, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, what I find in my investigations, I put on these emails, and they're really short. It's only once a month. If you like to get it, go to my website, robertbudd.net, and scroll down the first page where it says, this is not an email, this is not a newsletter, but put your email here. Go ahead and put it there, and you'll get the very next one. Also, you can find me on Facebook, Robert Budd. You can find me on Instagram, on the Insties, Robert Budd 16. And you can also find me out and about in San Diego, throwing some kettlebells around. So with that being said, I really appreciate you, and I can't wait until the next interview, the next one. Who knows who it is as of yet, but if you do have someone that you would like to hear on the show, contact me. Like I said, I can be found on all the socials, on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Drop me a line, and if you have someone in your life that you're like, you really need to interview this person, which I've done before. I've gotten some recommendations, and I love them, and I'll see if I can interview that person. So, that being said, thank you so much. Have a beautiful life, and until next time, take her easy.